well, here's the thesis. Everything we do in community, because it's community that interests me. I spent a lot of time in organizations that made light bulbs and nails and aircraft engines and whatnot. I'm less interested in them now because they do all that kind of stuff pretty well, but I've become interested in communities. And what is important about communities, about the thing we do together, everything we do together is grounded in and sustained by conversation. You know, that's kind of where it starts, and that's how it's maintained. And so I become interested in the relationship between conversation and communities, what kinds of communities we have among ourselves. Now, I'm going to talk about a particular kind of conversation. I'm not talking about the kinds of conversations that are just transactional or we exchange information. The kind of conversation I had with the guys over here that told them that, yes, the gig was at 7:30 a.m., and which is unusual for jazzers. What to wear, to dress in black, and roughly what the event was about. And roughly is as close as we ever get with this thing, you know. And so that was that. So it isn't that kind of conversation. It's not the kind of conversation that's involved in advocacy, you know, where somebody's trying to make points and trying to get their way and whatnot. The worst example of which would be question period, you know, and where people are really behaving badly there. What we're interested in is the kind of conversation that is transformative, the kind of conversation that takes you somewhere where you've never been before, you know, the kind of one that surprises you. And so in effect, it's about an act of reimagining. So I never thought of that way before. You know, what's the process that goes on when we're having that kind of conversation? Well, as it happens, that's what jazz does. Every performance of jazz is an act of reimagining, you know. So what we're going to do in a few minutes is to take something very familiar like autumn leaves and reimagine it, you know. So we're going to say, so we'll play autumn leaves like it's never been played before, and that's the act of reimagining. The community that I know best, well, I know fairly well, is the jazz community, and it's an astonishing community because I was thinking about it a while ago because I was doing some writing. It began a little over 100 years ago in the Mississippi Delta. And in that 100 years, it's gone global, which is an astonishing thing. It's everywhere. And just to check, it was funny because I was wondering about that, whether that was too grand a claim to make. So I thought of something remote, something exotic, and I thought of Ulaanbaatar. That's romantic, it's, you know, exotic. So I put Ulaanbaatar plus jazz into Google, the gospel according to Google, and up popped the Giant Steps of Jazz Festival. The Giant Steps, it's sponsored by Jazz Mongolia to promote jazz. So it's gone everywhere, and it's gotten there one musical conversation at a time. It went global without the benefit of a strategic plan, without a vision, without a mission statement. It got there without executive oversight, without a governance system. Just a group of people getting together, one conversation at a time, and it's gone global. It's astonishing. So that's the kind of conversation we want to explore today. So here's what we're going to do. You're going to work. You guys are going to do something because you're going to get involved, which is where I lose complete control of the time of this thing. We're going to make this music. We're going to reimagine Autumn Leaves. And I want you to pay attention to what we're doing because we're going to talk about it. And I'm going to ask you what you noticed. So notice stuff, okay? And then I'm going to ask you to talk about it. And please, we've only got 18 now, probably 15 minutes. So I don't want paragraphs of observations, okay? Just pithy little comments would be perfect. So, all right, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do that now. Okay, so this is reimagined. What did I say it was? All right. Who wrote it? Do you know who wrote it? Oh, well, uncredited.
We're rewriting it.
Pardon?
Want us to Google it?
Google it. Cool. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Colleen and Chris Banks to start this conversation. Okay, so they're going to start the conversation, and then Tim and I will, well, at some point, we'll join them. So not too fast, though, eh, guys? So, what did you notice? What did you see? What was going on? Yes?
There were different themes and developments, like hesitancy and then boldness, and soft and then bouncy, and kind of a different thematic development.
Okay. You noticed the hesitancy, eh?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and that was coming from, where do you imagine that was coming from?
Well, from each other. I think somebody had to start, and then you started to kind of listen to each other and then respond, like it's a dialogue.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that's one of the really cool things that you learn in jazz is that the best solos, and there kind of were, are never monologues. You know, so in conversation, the best ones are always, they're always attentive to what else is going on around you, you know? What else? Yes?
You know, the autumn leaves, the actual piece, basically stayed under the surface. The same chord progression and key, etc., some of the same phrasing, but it was completely different. It made its own piece, and it really allowed each of the musicians to shine in their own way.
And we didn't plan this, did we? Eh?
No.
No, you and I, no.
No.
Yeah. No, but that's right, because there is a pattern, there is the chord structure. Eh? I mean, Charlie Mingus said, you can't improvise about nothing, man. You got to improvise about something, you know? And so it's, even if it's wondering about what the leaf season's going to be like, it's about that, you know, not about something else. Yeah, so that's right. So it's about something, and there's a pattern. We did one of these gigs for a palliative care congress in Montreal a number of years ago, and the guy who organized it, Balfour Mount, is a father of palliative care in Canada. He's a cool, really cool guy. And he said, I know jazz is about listening, and we got to get better at listening. That's why I want you guys to come and do this thing. And he said something wonderful. He said, he paraphrased when he was doing the benediction at the end. He said, if you can't listen, you can't connect. He picked that up. He said, and if you can't connect, you can't heal. Isn't that lovely, eh? So healing is part of that business of being listened to and being healed in the process, yeah. Yep.
It felt like it wasn't judge-driven, it was enjoyment-driven.
Yeah, yeah. See, that's why it went global, because it didn't have a should about it, eh? If we'd said we got to go global, then we'd have screwed up, eh? It would have just died in Chicago probably or something. Yeah.
If somebody makes quote a mistake, you know, it's a joke in jazz, right?
Yeah.
It's improv, right? I mean, what happens is you don't stop and correct.
No, that's what chromatic chords are for. That's what chromatic scales are for. Yeah, just keep going. Or you keep repeating it, like you had it in mind all the time. Yeah. Yeah. So I've heard other people talk about curiosity. That ultimately is that's the center of the thing. That's what keeps that conversation going, is the curiosity. If we went back there, where would it go from here? Do you know what I mean? And it's that curiosity that keeps us coming back and doing it, you know. It's not to hear each other say the same thing time after time, you know. I have no idea where we are time-wise. We're done. Okay, I tell you what. We're going to go out. We're going to play something from Sing from Sesame Street, and you can cut this. You can edit this out. But I'd like you guys to just hum along or whistle or whatever you want. Okay? You must be familiar with the tune.
Yes. Who wrote it?
Who wrote it? I don't know. The grumpy guy. Okay, we'll just play one chorus of this. What?
Yeah, great. Yeah.
We'll just play one chorus. Yeah, and then you can edit this stuff if you want. But you know, you reckon it? Okay. 1, 2. It's in C, okay? First note's E. 1, 2, 3, 4.